I'm Theresa Staker here at Keller Ballantyne, and I have a very special guest today. Miss Mary Webster is with me.
So
Mary, tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been here, how long you've been in real estate.
Well, I've been at Keller Ballantyne for, I think, 13 years now. It's my first and only real estate brokerage. And before that, I delivered babies for about 30 years as a labor and delivery nurse and a nurse midwife. So made the transition from hospitals to real estate, and it's been a fun ride.
Yeah, haven't looked back.
I still keep my hand in, like, following some things.
Yeah.
And obviously keep in touch with my peeps at the hospital.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
we're going to talk about something you probably get asked quite a lot these days. How's the real estate market?
Oh, yeah, I hear that a lot, probably every day, and going to the gym, going to the grocery store, talking to friends, walking around my neighborhood. It's quite a topic of conversation, and everybody is always interested in what the real estate market is doing. The answer is good. Charlotte has a really good real estate market. You've probably all heard that we have about 157 people moving here a day, and they all need a place to live, whether it's an apartment or a house or whatever they're looking for. So it's a good market, and it's a strong market, but we've got a few challenges going on right now.
And is that new? Let's just think about for a second, maybe if somebody doesn't know, what was the market like, say, 2 to 3 years ago? Was it challenging, as you mentioned, or is today a little bit different?
So there's always challenges. A couple of years ago, it was very challenging for buyers because the demand was so strong for homes. There just weren't enough homes to go around. So coming out of COVID, we've kind of equilibrated a little bit. We do have more homes for sale. They are staying on the market longer, and it's not quite as competitive to try and get into a home. Now, there are certain areas, certain price points, certain neighborhoods that are still extremely competitive, and houses may sell, in a matter of days, hours, minutes. However, the market overall is about 3 months on the market for a house that's listed. So our average days on market has gone up quite a bit. It's gone from like 3 days from 3 years ago to about 3 months now.
Yeah. A big difference then from just a couple of years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so inventory's up, and you just mentioned something really interesting in certain neighborhoods or maybe even a certain market. Now, you sell let's call the whole Charlotte metro.
Right. I'm licensed in North and South Carolina.
Okay.
So I go from Lake Norman to, Lancaster, South Carolina.
Perfect.
And east and west.
And so I'm guessing Lancaster might be a little bit different than, say, Denver or Locust.
Yeah, it's really important when you're working with a real estate agent to make sure that they're pulling very hyper-local information, because your neighborhood is completely different than the next neighborhood. Even within one neighborhood, we may have one street that's completely different than the other streets. So it's really important that you're looking at what we call hyper-local data, and you're able to work with your real estate agent to figure out whether you're buying or selling, because you need to know, like, if I'm buying a house, how hot is that house, and how quickly is it going to sell? How competitive do I need to be with my offer? And if you're selling your house, you need to figure out what your pricing strategy needs to be so you can sell it.
So let's talk about that, since we just kind of touched on sellers. When you're having listing appointments and you're meeting with people looking to sell their home, now there's more inventory.
Absolutely.
So that conversation probably sounds a little different, like you said, than 2-3 years ago.
Absolutely.
Tell us what conversation you're having about the real estate market if they're looking to sell right now.
Okay. Well, first of all, oftentimes I start working with sellers months in advance. They're telling me, oh, my son's graduating from college next year. We're going to downsize. We're going to move to Florida, whatever. And we start putting together a plan. So whether you need to sell next week or next year, it's best to have someone come in and talk to you and get that process started and put together that plan. And then once we start narrowing down when you actually want to list your home, we have to look very carefully at the price and what the prices are doing in your neighborhood and in your area. Selling a house really right now is two things. It's both a pricing strategy and it's a little bit of a beauty contest. Buyers are a little pickier. They tend to be a little grumpy coming out of the last few years because
Yeah.
prices have gone up. Interest rates are still higher than what we remember, right? They're not 2 and 3% anymore. They're in the 6s and 7s. So buyers really want a good bang for their buck. They want something for their money. So the conversation with the seller is, let's get your house ready so it's attractive to buyers, and let's price it at a price that is very attractive to them also.
Yeah.
One piece of data I just saw today, because I check like the local market hot sheet. So in the last week, in our multiple listing service, which encompasses all of the greater Charlotte area, and it even expands like out to Asheville and up to Boone and
does.
into South
Several
Carolina.
counties,
Yeah,
yeah,
many
across the
counties.
state.
But in the last week, there were about 1,400 new listings in our MLS. There were 2,300 price reductions.
Wow.
So that is telling us that sellers are still overpricing their homes and then having to reduce to try and find the buyer for their house.
Interesting. I love how you put that. It's both a cost and a pricing strategy and a beauty contest.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about cost, pricing. Tell me a little bit about that beauty contest. What types of things are you telling the sellers that, again, we weren't really doing 2-3 years ago? Is it, staging, or what types of things are you prepared to do with them to get the house ready?
Well, depending on the situation and what needs to be done, we look at the house, we look at what the seller's resources are, what they're able to do. I have people that, they hand me the keys and they say, "This is my mom's house. Can you take care of it, Mary?"
Yeah.
And I will go in and we'll do an estate sale, and I'll get it cleaned, and we'll get it presented and ready to go, and photographs and everything else. But then if I'm working with a family that's maybe living in the house, we start talking about what can they do to get their house ready. And usually the biggest thing is decluttering. We all have stuff. And one of my little sayings that I give my clients is, this is your house. You've lived in your house the way you want to live in it, and that's absolutely the way you should live in it. But now we have to make your house look like what people think they want to live in it. And where do they get that idea? Usually from like HGTV or
That's
something
right.
like that, right? It's not realistic. I'm not going to live that way. They're not going to live that way. You don't live that way. But we have to get your house looking to make them think that they're going to live in this beautiful little house that's clutter-free and, maybe updated. So we may look at, decluttering, getting rid of furniture, cleaning out closets, any little fix-it items, that drippy sink or that loose cabinet door or that sticky window, things that have been kind of hanging around. Let's address some of those things.
Sure.
Is there painting that needs to be done? Is there some updates that they've been wanting to do and they want to get that done? Are there holes in the wall from a kid or a dog or something that, that need
just
to
never
be...
was addressed?
Yeah. So it's like getting some of those things taken care of
Perfect.
without hopefully spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still getting it ready.
Getting it ready and making that house look what we call show ready.
I love that.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be the latest, greatest thing, but we do want a clean, clutter-free house will sell much better than dirty dishes in the kitchen sink.
For sure. For sure. Okay, so now we've kind of talked about the market from the seller's perspective. What is this conversation looking like from the buy side?
Well, again, it's a little bit more optimistic than it was a few years ago in that there are more houses on the market that are staying on the market, and it's not so competitive. I used to stalk the coming soon, and this house is coming on the market Thursday, and I'd be making an appointment for my seller or my buyers to get in there before it's even on the market. So now we're able to, pace ourselves a little bit. The buyers need to get ready to be able to buy. So that's, talking to a lender, getting pre-qualified, finding out what their budget is. Maybe they need a little help with their credit, and they need to address a few things with their credit to get their credit strong and put them eligible to buy a house. And then we start focusing on what they're really looking for and trying to drill down. And I tell people I'd rather show you 5 houses that are exactly what you're looking for than 500 houses that are not what you're looking for.
Yes.
And, people's needs change. You might tell me you want something one day, and then after looking at a few of those houses, you change your mind, and that's okay. But we want to have a starting point with a price, and the only way to do that is to get pre-approved with a lender, and then to kind of drill down and figure out what are the criteria that you're looking for in your new home.
I love that. Nobody wants to look at 500 homes.
No, it's fun. Some people think it's fun, but I take someone out, and after we've done like 5 or 6 in one day, it's like, whoo,
Yeah.
they can't.
I mean, you can't even keep track of that.
You can't keep track of
what
it.
did I like? Did this one have that? Yeah, that's
Is
great.
it the white kitchen or the brown cabinets or the blue bathroom?
No, that's a great strategy.
It all runs together.
So from a buyer's perspective then, with a little bit more inventory, are you seeing some more negotiations? Tell us about
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, we're seeing, sellers and buyers are having to kind of meet more in the middle, and everybody's kind of giving and taking a little bit more, whether it's the sellers are offering closing costs or some other incentives to help the buyer get into the house. So we're seeing a little bit, and we're not quite seeing, it used to be, 3 or 4 years ago, there was the asking price, and then there was the selling price, and things were often selling for, at least 100%, 105% of the asking price. Now we're seeing that number down around like 96, 97% of asking price. So there's a little bit more negotiation, and there's a little bit more perks and extras that are becoming more available to buyers.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
A little more wiggle room.
Little more wiggle room,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else that we first want to tell everybody about the market that maybe we didn't cover today?
No, I think we covered, some highlights, but, I'm always open to questions, and conversation and consultations are free.
Yeah.
So, if you have more questions, just call me up, text me, whatever.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Mary, for your time. This was
Okay.
fantastic.
Thanks.